have a mom, an aging mom. I have an aging mom. We have aging parents. How difficult is having that conversation with people watching right now? Trying to have that conversation because our parents grew up in a generation, our grandparents and our parents grew up in a generation where they cannot be vulnerable.
Yeah.
It's a very strong generation.
So true.
They work hard, you know, they make a lot of sacrifices. So how do we approach the subject saying that maybe it's time for us to look into trying to take care of you?
Yes.
So how do people actually approach that?
That is so true, you know. It's very hard for them to want to
Show vulnerability.
show vulnerability, and also make sure that they are taking care of themselves and spending time in themselves, investing in themselves, you know. And yes, that's, you know, I think one of the approaches that I've seen work with the caregivers is, you know, no one, even the young, like we don't like to be vulnerable too. So I think one of the approaches I've seen and I've been very inspired by caregivers is this notion of we're just here to support and enable. You know, we have so much to learn from you. We have so much respect and esteem for you. So now we just want to enable you to retain the choices that you want to make. And oftentimes, initially, when there's resistance, but when there's the approach, it's not like, okay, let me just do everything for you since you're so weak now and I'm so able, and you know, you're just gonna depend on me. But it's more of, wow, you know, look at what you've done, how much you've added to your family's lives. Now, what can I do for you? You know, I think sometimes mentality and approach is really important and changes a lot of things. Not always easy. So I think my mom, maybe I can share a bit of my mom. I mean, you
can give me advice because I also need to have this conversation.
I'm not sure I can give advice, but I'm not sure about that. But I do know that I think being open and vulnerable yourself helps. You know, just like how, you know, Mom, I think just talking very openly, you know, so for me, I just share with her. I don't tell her what to do. I just share with her everything I've seen in Homage and like what I'm learning. And I think over time, this concept of active aging really got into her. So in the past, I remember when she was visiting me overseas, she couldn't walk. Like we couldn't walk anywhere. So we had to take cars and we couldn't go to much places because of that. She was in a lot of pain. But now, so this is over 5-6 years. She does yoga twice a week, goes to the treadmill in a nearby exercise facility 2-3 times a week. She swims once a week. And then she does. She basically.
That's very active.
It's already it's amazing. It's amazing. So, and now it's not just about the weight loss. She's much more stronger. So she has a lot more core strength. She's more active. She walks everywhere now, and it's a huge transformation. But it did not come from me. You know, it's all her own efforts. It came from within her. And because I have seen, and you know, everyone has their own path, and I've seen people in their 70s, 80s, 90s, as though they are 40, 50. I've seen people in their 40s and 50s with the kind of dependency, as though they were in their 80s. And so everyone is dealing with a different set of health profile too, you know, and some of it is, you know, is hereditary. So we work with what we have, and I think. But it's definitely how you approach the planning side. So practically speaking, of course, I say as early as possible, but if that's not realistic, if you start to know now, you know, speaking to the families, start having open conversations, you know, and have coffee, just chit chat and share your fears too, you know, share what you want for them. Hey Mom, you know, I think, you have been you've been a teacher. My mom was a teacher for 40 over years. Like, you want them to be well. You want them to, I think the more they know about where you're coming from, rather than just trying to tower over them, I used to because every time it's some small medical thing, I would be like, oh my God, now I start nagging, and then I'll be like,
we'll get scared because it's fear from outside.
Yes, and when we exert and then, you know, kind of just press down, it becomes it's not the right approach. Just like when you're a kid, right? Like, I mean, and you also, I mean, anyone, actually, even as adults, you don't want anyone to just use that approach on us as well.
True.
As adults.
So there's a way to do it.
There's a way to
balanced
do it, and
yeah.
it's respecting their will, their choice. So recently, I had a. This one is maybe more heartfelt, and we're still going through it. So my mom likes to drive. Well, she likes to have the independence of driving from one place to another place. The actual experience of driving, she doesn't like it. But so we just had this conversation of, sometimes by the time you think you're like, most people cannot estimate the right time to stop.
Okay.
Right? So it's either you stop too early or you stop too late. But what is better, So I think it's not always easy because they would perceive it as, oh, I'm less able. But it's okay. We are all a family, right? So the children, the grandchildren, so what are the risks here, and how do you look at it very practically? Not always easy though. So I think it's building that kind of relationship over time lah. It takes time, and it takes two ways. Like just over time, just making sure that you're able to help guide them, and they're guiding you too. Because oftentimes they will share things that, as children, I'm like, oh, mom, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah.
That's true. Okay.
Yes. This
Shared a
gets
lot,
bit
yeah.
personal.
It's okay, it's fine. I really wanted to ask that because I really needed a personal view, a personal perspective from you. Final question, maybe you can talk a bit more about Homage and what is Homage planning in the next few years. You guys, 4 years in, what are the plans you guys, are you guys going to expand, and are you guys going to increase your profile and increase services and things like that?
Yeah, so I think we're really quite moved by Malaysia and our operations in Malaysia, because we find that we've now gathered more than 100 caregivers, and we believe we'll be in the hundreds very soon, and what I've seen and met them personally and chatted with them was they're just very motivated caregivers that are local, and we want to enable Malaysians to take care of Malaysians. So I definitely see the longer term plans is to make sure that we are able to continue to grow in Malaysia, and we have plans to invest more than double actually into Malaysia and expanding our operations here. Yeah. So and I think over time, for us, our caregivers are the pillar, and if we're talking about long term, it means how does caregiving become more accessible? So even in terms of awareness, and then affordability. So making sure we work with partners and government partners, financial partners as well, to help caregiving be more affordable. Even potentially insurance partners, and then finally, it's the quality of care. So the quality of care is really the pillar of what we do is our caregivers. So we're definitely going to invest a lot more into their training, the professionalization and standardization of caregivers. And I think that is tremendously meaningful, because when we empower people who are younger to provide care professionally, and give the dignity to the caregiving profession as well, then as a whole we lift the trade. And if we treat it professionally, then there's also standards and quality that we can maintain. And I think caregiving is it's like, and nursing is a noble task. So the more that you do it, we've seen. I think helping people care more has a profound impact on their own lives as well. So, for example, our own engineers they are not anything related to healthcare. They are software engineers, and they are the ones building our mobile app. So they are building our Care Pro app. They are building our customer app, and they have themselves become more aware of caregiving and everything around it. So I think, as long term wise, awareness building, knowledge building on this area is definitely one of our. So in that sense, it's health promotion, but it's more than just health, and it's not promotion. It's just discourse. Let's not shy away from what we should know as and particularly if you I recently did this quick survey, just a very quick soundbite, right? Like I asked how many of you know someone who's dealing with this is during our launch event. know someone who has caregiving needs, or you yourself have caregiving needs for your parents, and literally 70% of the room, 80% of the room lifted up with their hands. So then nobody will feel that, hey, actually I'm all in this alone, and then they feel that very shameful, you know, or guilty or
Yeah, I
ashamed.
think there is a big network and a community of people actually taking care of their parents, because there is a very big aging population in Malaysia, and I'm sure you and me, we will go through the same situation in taking care of our parents as well in the future.
Yes,
So,
yes.
so thank you so
Yes,
much,
yeah.
Gillian, for your
No,
time.
thank you, Dishen.
I really appreciate it. Thank you so much with what you're doing with Homage, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, Dishen. Likewise.
And thank you so much for watching. This has been Health Matters with me, Dishen Kumar. I hope you liked the conversation today. The topic was elderly care and how we, if you are a grandson, a granddaughter, or even a son, and you have elderly parents and things like that, maybe it's time for you to start actually planning how do you want to take care of them when they're much more older. They've sacrificed so much for us. Maybe it's time we actually do something for them as well. So I'll join me in the next episode. This is Health Matters with me, Dishen Kumar. Thank you. Goodbye.